Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jeri Miller from Jam Studios on Riverside Drive in Salisbury. So we're here for the second month. This month is February here at the Wellness Center. We're going to do about a 30 to 45 minute class. We're going to cut it back. That was some good input that we got. We got some other input to put me in a different position and for me not to wear black pants if I have a black mat. So I have a blue mat today because I love black clothes. So anyway, we're here. So what I want to do today is just talk about what this month is, significance of it to myself and to this community of our world here, and especially here at Peninsula Wellness. So February, okay, it's snowing. It's the month of Black History Month. We need to make sure we acknowledge that and celebrate that. And it's also a month filled with lots of hearts. Lots of cupids and chocolates and flowers and all the things about love, and then we get all lost in that. So what we want to talk about today is the form of love called self-love. And really what I want to do today is allow you to go into some self-care with that. And what exactly is that and how we care for ourselves. Because if we can't care for ourselves, then how are we going to care for the other people that we profess to love or care about? So we're going to focus on today about slowing down and creating space in our body and maybe creating that space in our mind, taking the time for yourself to create those openings for yourself. It's not really hard to do. You just have to make the time to do it. We all have time to slow down instead of rush and push through everything. So as we practice today, let's try to safely stretch or expand through the spaces in our body and find our boundaries in a safe way. So listening to your body. So if you're going too far, I want you to listen to that command that your body's giving you. It's like, stop, that's a little too far, that's a little too much, or maybe I shouldn't do this. Or maybe I can go a little bit further into that boundary. And with that expansion, starting to find that compassion for yourself, not the guilt of, oh, I can't do that. Oh, yes, I can do it. Maybe I can do it this way. So there's all these ways to do different things. So be patient with yourself in this process. And let's see if while we practice, you can grab a little more self-love for yourself in this practice. Try to relax and give way to make room for your breathing, which is huge. So let's talk a little bit about the heart. So if we breathe deeper and slower and fuller, we're going to allow our heart rate to slow down. Our blood pressure is going to go down. So that's good heart health for everybody. And let's try to, in this practice, eliminate any expectation for yourself and just enjoy creating some more good space in your body for yourself. And we all can do a little bit more of this. And it's only going to take a few minutes. So today's practice will focus on breathing, always starting with breathing in my practice and your practice, and then creating the movement. And then today we're going to stay in our poses a little bit longer because we're working on creating that stretch or that space or that flexibility in your body. And we're just going to take the time to do that. So what we're going to do first is we're going to get down on our backs. So find a way to get down to your back safely. And then we're going to ground our feet. Meaning put your feet down on the ground and then gently roll to your back. If you can, guide yourself down if you need to. Just pull your left knee to your chest when you get to your back. Relax through your left ankle, foot, and toes. And then we'll release the left foot down and then pull the right knee to the chest. And then we're going to bring both feet down. If you want to extend your legs out onto the mat, if that's more comfortable for you, and that's good for your back and your knees and your hips, that's fine. So today, it doesn't feel so great to my knees, so I'm going to bend my legs and place my feet on the ground. So you actually have those two options, or maybe there's another place that you want to lie in. So let's open our arms up to the side. Allow your fingers to naturally curl. Let's begin today's practice by, as we lay here thinking about, I'm just going to relax and allow my chest to open a little bit. So relieving some of that tension maybe around the jawline, down to your chin, and your throat, your chest, your shoulders, and then think about relaxing all the way through your fingertips. So that relaxation is going to go all the way down from your head down to your fingertips. And then we're going to rest our eyes, meaning close your eyes. If you're not comfortable with your eyes being closed, then please open them. So we always have options here. There's not one right way to do everything in yoga. And then just settle into the breath that you came into your practice today with. And as you breathe, feel your body rise and fall. So as we inhale, we feel a lift or a rise towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we feel a softening and a release down towards the ground or the floor, to the mat underneath of you. So let's just take the time just to cycle through several cycles of that breath before we begin our learned breath or our working breath. And I want you to open your eyes if they're not already open. We're going to do our diaphragmatic breathing with our eyes open today. So the diaphragmatic breathing goes like this, preferably using your nose to inhale as well as exhale. But if you can't, you feel free to use your mouth to breathe. So we're going to inhale for a count of 3 today, and then we're going to exhale for a count of 3. I really want you to feel a big opening as we inhale and a big relaxation or an exiting as you release your breath. So let's go ahead and begin counting to 3 as we inhale. And counting to 3 as we exhale. Let's just continue to make that big circle of breath here with that 3 counted breath this afternoon. See if when you release into your exhalation, if you can allow your body to soften a little more. Just let go a little bit of whatever tension may be residing in your body. And then maybe allowing your eyes to close and continue with this breath. And let's open our eyes and just bring the left knee to the chest, followed by the right. Just pulling the knees to the chest without touching your arms. If you need to use your arms to pull it in, feel free to do that. And then when we get those legs up in position, let your knees separate slightly. Bring your hands to your shins, so make sure your hands are not on your knees. We don't want to put any pressure on any joints. And draw your knees to your chest. See if you can relax your shoulders down away from your ears. And draw what I call your blades together towards the center of your back, which are your shoulder blades. And open your chest a little bit here. And kind of wiggle through your toes a little bit. Kind of create some space between your toes and your ankles. So move your feet around. And then we'll stop and roll your body slightly from left to right here. So it actually gives you a nice little massage on your back muscles, those muscles that run down each side of your spine called the rector spinae. Some people say spinae, either way is fine. And then we'll stop in center right there and we'll let our feet come down. So we're going to do our first chest and heart opener today. Raise your hands above your chest and let your fingers gently touch one another. Ground your feet. Your hips are slightly open, feet apart. We're going to take a big inhale. We're going to open our arms up to the side as far as we can with the palms facing up. And then we're going to exhale. We're going to close that. So we're going to open the chest and then close it. Open the back and then close it. Inhale, open. Exhale, gently close. Move with your breath. And then we're going to stop all the way at the top, bring the palms together, and then turn your palms so they're facing away from your body. And you can see the backs of your hands. You can see your fingernails and your knuckles right there. If you have a watch on, you can see that maybe the face of your watch there. And then we're going to inhale the arms over our head. That puts our shoulders in flexion. And we can lie there and reach out of our shoulders, open your rib cage and your chest here. And we're just going to stay here and cycle through our breath. You should feel your ribs opening up to the area above you, which is probably the ceiling. And then we're going to exhale, just bring your arms back to vertical. And then we're going to create a big range of motion here, or some mobility. As we inhale, reach your arms over your head. And then we're going to exhale, the arms or your fingers touch besides your hips or body. And then we're going to inhale, raise your arms over your head. Exhale, back down and touch. So creating that mobility and the openness in the shoulder joints right here. And then we'll stop right there and center again. So take your palms and bring them together. We're going to exhale, lift the fingertips towards the sky, lifting head and the shoulder blades up, and then inhale, return that down. So we're going to sneak a little bit of abdominal core work in here. Lifting and lowering with your breath. And then gently, gently, gently bring that all the way down. And then we're going to open our arms up, press the palms towards the floor on each side. So your body, your upper body looks like a T. Let your knees gently fall to the left. And we're going to turn our head to the right. So we're putting ourselves into a nice, easy, open spinal twist here. And we're going to take 5 deep, full breaths here. So at the end of that 5th breath, you'll inhale your knees to center, and then we're going to exhale. The knees are going to roll to the right, head to the left. So we're going to open up through that left side of your body. Make sure you position your arm, your left arm, so that you can see all the way down the outside of your left pinky finger. So we use that finger right there as a reference to look at. And we're going to take 5 full breaths right here. And then take a big inhale, come back into center, and we'll give ourselves that gracious knees to chest here, which is a really nice, good relaxation pose, but also gives us some area to work in our hips and in our knees as we create some flexion and space in there. And then give yourself that little easy roll side to side that we did earlier. And then if you can either roll to your side, maybe you want to extend your legs up and then roll yourself forward. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to kind of go backwards a little bit. So we did some large groups, but now I want to work on some small groups. Sometimes we forget about these, our hands and our wrists and our fingers and our toes. So we're going to do a little hand yoga. So if we open our hand, so you have an open hand, open palm, and your fingers are wide apart, as wide as you can get them, that's called abduction. If we draw our fingers together, bring everything to the center, that's adduction. So let's kind of move with our breath here with that. So you're going to inhale, open, spread your fingers apart from one another, and then exhale, close. So what I want you to think about when you're doing here is to think about, I'm going to sit tall right here because I can't see any of you. So we're going to sit tall, not think about your spine being straight. Just think about your spine being long and tall, and make sure your chin is pulled away from your chest, and we're just breathing here. And then go ahead and bring that down. Just to talk to you about that a little bit. Before I was coming here, I had a little stressful moment, so it was in my kitchen, and I was like, all right, what am I going to do to calm down right now? So I need to tap into my hands. So I took my hand like this. And all right, breathe into your hand with an open hand and a fist, because that's another way to do it. So I inhale, open your hand into a fist. So let's do that together. Take your left hand, open your hand and put it so you can see your palm. And then exhale, you're going to make a big, strong, tight fist. And when you do that, you're going to feel that bicep engage, all the muscles in your wrist engage, and then you're going to inhale, open it. So we've got this dynamic contraction on both ways of extension with straight arms and flexion. So move with your breath here. Have a big inhale, exhale, fist. And then stop. So let me finish the rest of that story. The reason I did that is because I was starting to have a little bit of anxiety, and I was like, I gotta not think about what I've got going on in my monkey brain right now, so let me focus on the breathing. And guess what? It took care of it for a little bit, and I can go back to it if I have it later. So I'm giving you that tool. Use that tool, breathing and moving something, and then that other thing, whatever it was kind of put away for a little bit. So let's take the right hand. Big open hand. Use your eyes. Spread your fingers. So a big inhale, open your hand, open your fingers. Exhale, big tight fist. Tighten up that bicep, tighten up all those intrinsic muscles in the wrist with the breath. Inhale, open, big tight fist. And then we can bring this down and let those hands maybe rest in our lap. So look at your hands and open your hands. We're going to do this. This other part of hand yoga is tapping. So I want you to take your pinky finger and your thumb and tap it together. Just tap, tap, tap. Don't worry about the breathing. Just find tap. And if you hear that, you should be able to hear that tapping. And then take the pointer finger, or the ring finger. That's the ring finger, excuse me. And then the middle finger. And then the pointer finger. It's all brain food right here. And I took a class several years ago, yoga for brain disorders. This is for all of us that we need to do, but it's designed for a lot of people that have like some brain diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So it doesn't hurt for us to do it. We need to keep those things alive, because I have a client that has Parkinson's and she can barely do this, and we do this all the time. So it's important to do. And this actually wears her out. So we need to keep doing that. So move your fingers around. Bring your hands together, roll your wrists, sit tall. Don't forget about your spine, long spine. Wave your wrist, and then shake it out. And then bring your arms over your head. So sometimes sitting tall is hard. We're not comfortable. We usually sit in a cross-legged position. A lot of times it's not comfortable for me, so I'll change it. But today it says, oh, yeah, your hips feel okay today. We're going to exhale your fingertips down. So we're going to work out of the seated position. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale down. We're opening through our spine, our chest, our shoulders. Once again, we're opening up things today. And then we'll inhale your arms up. And then exhale your hands to your heart. We'll go over this heart center or prayer pose. So when we're in this position here in yoga, prayer pose, your hands are just a little bit left of center because that's where your big heart is. So let's really just close our eyes and take about 5 full breaths here. Think about, I'm here today for my yoga practice, which is going to be my self-care, my self-love, taking better care of myself so I can do better for others. But remember, you come first so you can be that person. Not easy to do. I'm not saying any of that's easy. It's not, but we need to give way to that and really think about how we can serve ourselves better so that we can serve others. And at the end of that 5th breath, you can just release that. Bring your chin to your chest and maybe round your back, sit back past your sit bones. This is actually a version of a seated cat position. And if we inhale and sit tall and open your chest, draw your shoulder blades together, that's going to put you in seated cow position. And then we can exhale as we lean back and then inhale, sit tall. Let's just do a few more of those before we transition into another position. And let's go ahead and release that. Let's find our hands and knees in the center of our mat. So remember that one of the principles of yoga or foundation is finding that alignment for yourself. So alignment on this is your wrist or your hands are under your shoulders. The eyes of your elbows are pointing forward in front of you past your fingertips. Your elbows are kind of pointing back towards your hips. And your knees are under your hips, and that's something that you just are going to have to feel there. We can't really get out of and can't really see if I'm in the right alignment. We kind of just have to feel that one. So then we're going to exhale into cat pose, bringing your spine towards the sky or the ceiling, and then inhale, lift the head into the tailbone, gently finding a safe spinal extension. And then we'll exhale into cat and inhale cow and find that nice long 3 counted breath as we move in and out of this flow. So when you get into cow position, let's stay here. So if we draw our shoulder blades together, we're opening through our chest here, heart opener, chest opener, rib opener. And then we'll exhale back into cow, and we're creating the reverse of that. So we're closing the chest and opening through the spine and flexion. And then we're going to separate our knees. So we're going to open our hips a little bit as we release back and down into child pose. Gently go ease down into your forearms. Maybe stack your hands if you're not ready to put your forehead on the floor. And let's just breathe here. Give your body permission to release and relax more on your exhalation here. So as you exhale, you should feel your body kind of sinking down, releasing down a little closer to the mat. The chest is going to drop down towards your legs or into this open space. Maybe you can find just a little more comfort there. Let's just grab 2 or 3 more breaths, and then we're going to come back up into tabletop position. And then I'm at the end of my breath, and that felt really cozy. I probably could take a nap there today. So tuck your toes under, lift your knees off the ground. We're going to start lifting our hips up and settle back towards our heels to find downward facing dog. Remember that downward facing dog is an inclusive, huge, full body position. So we're using everything from our hands to our feet here. And we're actually in part of an inversion here, so you're going to feel maybe a lot of blood rushing into your head. That's really important to not hold your breath and continue to practice that diaphragmatic breathing that we're working on for the second month in a row. And then we're going to inhale into kneeling plank. So that's when the knees come down, maybe the tops of the feet come down. And then we'll exhale back into down dog. So we're opening the shoulders and opening the hips and opening everything, just about everything you have. So we're going to find that flow of inhale into kneeling plank and exhaling into down dog. And then the other version of this is, depending on your practice, you can inhale into full plank and then you can exhale into down dog. So I'm giving you those options of finding a full plank, which is hands and feet, and then a full downward facing dog, or we have that kneeling plank and that down dog. You can mix it up if you want in your practice, moving from one to the other, or you can stick with one, depending on where you are in your practice today. So once again, listen to that element of that principle of I'm listening to my body. And then we'll stop in down dog. Once you take your hands and walk them back towards your feet, make sure your feet are separated on your mat. Knees are slightly bent, and your body is just hanging down into this space. So we're going to relax forward fold. My knees are slightly bent. I can feel a nice stretch in my back and my ribs and my hamstrings. And I've taken my hands and I've stacked them one on top of the other. And they're kind of at the tops of my feet, but not on my feet, and my elbows are soft. So I'm just hanging here in a nice, easy way. But we're going to breathe here. So we're finding some flexibility and openness in our hamstrings, our glutes, and our lower back. Give your legs a big bend, power up into your mountain pose. Then I'm going to have you step sideways onto your mat and open your legs. Turn your toes toward the long corners of your mat. So we're on the long side of our mat. So open your hips so your pelvis and your hips are open, and then raise your arms overhead. So this puts you in a big star position. So we're going to exhale. We're going to create a flow here. We're going to exhale down into sunflower, but we're going to hold this right here at the bottom. And we're just going to think about, I'm going to sway from one side to the other. It doesn't matter what side you start on. So we're opening up from left to right or right to left, wherever you are. Maybe you can put your fingertips down and move to support yourself. Maybe they move with you. Or maybe you could just move without your hands. Depending on where you are, you might need a little more support. And then we're going to stop on one side. Hold that right there. Lift the head a little bit, elongate through your spine. Come into center, and then exhale through the other side. And then come back into center. Give your legs a big knee bend and hip flexion and come up into star. Let's move through a moonflower flow. So we're going to open the chest here and inhale back up. This is a nice big chest opener, hip opener, big inclusive flow. Think about that heat that you're creating underneath your shoulder blades. And then we'll stop in center. Turn your feet in so that your toes are facing the long side of your mat and your heels are facing the back side. We're going to hinge forward, bring our hands to the floor here. Maybe interlace your hands, lean towards the left leg. Come into center and then lean towards the right leg. We're going to come into center. We're going to walk around to our left foot. So that's putting us in a supported stance here. We're going to open through the right hip flexor, and then bring the right knee down. Ground through the top of your right foot and inhale up into kneeling lunge. Exhale into this cactus or this goddess like open chest pose. We're going to hold this right here for 5 breaths. Make sure your chin is away from your body. You may be looking up towards the wall that may be in front of you. I call it the crease of the wall, where the wall and the ceiling come together right now. And finish your breathing right here. Then we're going to bring our hands down and behind us. Bring them down to frame your left foot out. Raise your right foot or right knee off the ground and pivot around back into a straddle all the way around to your right leg. And then we're going to bend our left leg. Gently place the left knee on the mat. Turn the foot under. Place the top of the foot down and come up into a kneeling lunge. I want you to interlace your hands together here if you can. Press your palms to the sky and look up at that crease of the ceiling and the wall. So we're creating a little open chest here as we reach our arms into flexion. Release that bind of your hands and circle your hands around and frame your foot out. Turn your back foot under, and we're going to come back around for that straddle. Ground your right hand and sweep your left hand up to the sky here. So we're opening through the left side of the chest and the shoulder. Make sure your palm is facing the wall that you're looking at. Exhale your left hand down and inhale your right arm up. So right palm faces that right wall or whatever's off to the right side of you. We're going to exhale that down. Take your hands and reach into the center of your space, and then reach your hands behind you and kind of walk your hands out onto the floor, finding some flexion in your spine and your hips here. Hold and breathe here. So we're in an inversion. Breathe deeply and fully. And then we'll bring our hands back down to the floor, out in front of us. Extend the arms up and walk around towards your right foot into a lunge position. And then we're going to step back into a plank. We're going to bring the knees down, lift the head up high, ground the tops of the feet. Exhale, coming all the way down into cobra. We're going to open the chest here. So drawing the shoulder blades together. We're going to hold this position, super engage your legs, press the toes down, tight quads. Then exhale, release the forehead to the mat. When you release the forehead to the mat, I want you to reach your arms out and place your elbows where your hands were, hands out in front. And we're going to lift up into an open chest here, deeper than cobra, into Sphinx pose. And if we like, we can maybe reach our arms out, open our chest and heart a little bit more. Or we can stay right here. Exhale, bring your forehead down to the mat. Bring your hands back under your shoulders. Lift your feet off the ground. Tighten your abs. Press up into plank. And then roll through your knees safely into child pose. And then take a big inhale, come up to all fours, and then we're going to come back down to our back again. So finding the center of your mat. Make sure your head is on your mat, your back is on your mat. Your legs can be off if you like, when we go into that extension. Excuse me, pull the left knee to the chest, extend the right leg out so it hovers over the mat. And then let it come down to the mat, but keep it super engaged and really hug that left knee to the chest. Opening up through that left side, extending through the right side. You should be able to feel like that leg can move a little bit more in that joint safely. And then we'll inhale, extend the left leg out, and then pull the right knee into the body. And you're gonna feel like each side is different because we have a dominant side and we have a non-dominant side, and each joint is not exactly the same. So we feel a little different on each side, which is fine. Hold that right there. And then we're going to release the right foot down to the mat. Bring your hands to your ribs, extend and lift the left leg up. Cross the left ankle over the right leg. Hip opener and back opener. Lift the right foot off the ground into a version of pigeon here. Rest your arms out to the side and rock a little bit side to side here. Or no rock at all. Just a little teeny movement to intensify the opening. And then we'll release the right foot down, extend the left heel to the sky, reach behind your left leg and draw that in. Bend your left leg, release that bind, let the left foot come down, extend the right leg up, cross the right leg over, lift the left foot off the ground. Hands to your ribs, maybe roll side to side or off to the side. Go ahead and release the left foot down, extend the right leg up. Reach behind your right leg, bind your hands and pull that right leg towards your chest. The idea is here is we want to straighten this right leg as much as we can. It does not have to be straight. We can just be working on getting it straight or straightening it more. So creating some more flexibility in your glutes and hamstrings and creating space for your body here. And then go ahead and release your bind, and let's bring the right foot down to the mat. See if you can bring the bottoms of your feet together. We're going to open our hips into Shavasana right here. So we're going to go into your relaxation here. Press the bottoms of the feet together, maybe rock your body side to side, open your hips, and then either placing your hands on your ribs or off to the side. If you're not comfortable in this position, please draw your legs together and extend them out onto the mat. So we're going to just cycle through 5 full breaths here. And really focusing on that exhalation of letting the body drift, release, and soften down. So at the end of that 5th breath, draw your legs together. Extend your legs out onto the mat or place yourself in the position that you would like to be into Shavasana. So lying on your back or on your side. Some people might want to prefer to lie on their belly. Let's just take the time to just review what you did today. We worked on some self-care. We worked on finding some different boundaries in your body. We did no sun salutations today. We didn't do a lot of heavy movement or support. Tried to just open some more spaces in your body. Give room for yourself. More self-care, more self-love. Pay attention to yourself. Take care of yourself. But also be yourself in the meantime. So hopefully this was very helpful to everyone. You can catch that on Peninsula Wellness's YouTube if you didn't catch it live today. I'm sure they'll be posting something in the next few weeks to what we're going to be doing in March. There'll be another little theme to do. It'll probably be something like March movement or something. So really going to get ready for the spring and get moving like the birds and the bees and all the daffodils that have been coming out. So enjoy the snow, be safe, self-care, self-love. Peace to everyone. Namaste. And I will see you next time. Thank you.